everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a new standard deck centered around Mega Rayquaza EX from Roaring Skies. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. Now, as for the question of the day, I think I'm going to go with, what do you guys think of this latest rotation, and what types of decks do you think will be really good? Honestly, I think the rotation is kind of weird because they are completely cutting off half of this entire generation. I mean, to be honest, it makes sense to do that and move on from there. But, I mean, you lose out on a ton of cards, and right now we're very limited, well, relatively limited in the number of sets that we have. I mean, this is the point where there will be the least number of sets available in the standard format, so we are very limited in terms of the decks that are viable and can be used to great effect. So, I mean, we don't have that many options, but I still think that the rotation is kind of cool. It does get rid of a lot of the item lock strategies, which I find amazing, and it, more importantly, gets rid of Night March, which was, I mean, it was a very, very good deck, but it was kind of toxic, in my opinion, to the metagame because everything was either Night March or stuff that could beat Night March. I mean, you had a lot of decks that were like, they were good, but if they lost to Night March, then they were just completely unviable. And the fact that Night March is now gone is amazing. Although I do want to point out something that I find kind of awesome. In the two worlds that Night March was very prevalent, it did not win a world championship, and I find that just absolutely phenomenal and just the ultimate irony with Night March. So, I mean, yeah, that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of the latest rotation in the comments section below and what decks you think will be good. But anyway, like I said, this deck is centered around Mega Rayquaza EX. By now, you guys probably know what this does. I think I've done 2 other decks centered around it, or deck videos, so this will be my 3rd one. And honestly, I think this is the best deck right now in the format. I mean, granted, I've only tried a couple here and there, but I mean, I've tried the Mega Mewtwo one, I've tried the different grass decks, I've tried like the Garbodor Darkrai deck, and I think that Mega Rayquaza is the best because it is the fastest and it hits the hardest. I mean, you have Emerald Break for 3 energy, so it's a little bit expensive, hitting for 30 times your number of your benched Pokemon, but I mean, you're able to fill up a bench fairly quickly with Shaman and Hoopa, but also Skyfield, allowing you to hit for 240 damage, which is absolutely absurd, and a lot of times this deck is able to hit for that on the first turn, which is utterly ridiculous. Now, I would like to point out that this is only one version of the deck. I will show you another one, and basically the only differences in the versions of the deck are the secondary Pokemon. I mean, in this deck, I am using Raichu because of Circle Circuit. This attack does 20 times the number of your benched Pokemon, but in another version of the deck, I'm using a Zoroark, and really, the only difference is the 2-2 line right here. But anyway, I will get to that in a little bit. Like I said, it's centered around Mega Rayquaza EX, and of course, I'm going to run a 4-4 of these guys. I know I usually run 3-3 of the Pokemon and their respective Megas, but in this deck, I mean, just filling up a bench spot gives it another 30 damage, and while even though you'll only be attacking with 3 Mega Rayquazas at the most in the game, because I mean, if they get knocked out, then, well, your opponent would take 6 prizes at that point and they'd win. I just decided to go with 4-4 because it's the main attacker, and I mean, you can evolve them first turn, all of that stuff, just play them on the bench. There's no downside really to doing that besides potential Lysander plays and stuff like that. But I like the 4-4 line, gives you more opportunity to get Mega Rayquazas out first turn and get the Rayquazas down on the bench and hit for the appropriate amount of damage. I'm also running 4 Shaman. I mean, want to run the absolute max, and yes, this is not a budget deck in the least, I apologize, but Shaman EX, you need 4 of these for the draw support, for being on the bench, and Shaman is what allows this deck to be so explosive, just slapping that thing down on the bench, drawing more cards, not having to use your supporter yet, and you can draw through 2/3 of your deck more often than not just in first turn with the combination of Hoopa and Shaman, and then maybe a supporter at the end of your turn. So Shaman is absolutely phenomenal. You want to run 4 of those. I'm running 1 Jolteon EX. I mean, this is very much a variable card in this deck. I kind of wanted to throw just one more Mon in there. I mean, Jolteon has the free retreat, has Flash Ray, which can be good against some like basic decks. I mean, like Darkrai and Giratina. Jolteon can be pretty good against if you can get it powered up and going. And I mean, Jolteon, you never really use it except in very specific scenarios, but it's a good splashable card that you can throw in this deck. And this spot, like I said, you can use for whatever you want. I just decided to throw a Jolteon in there because I like what it brings to the deck and what type of options it does bring, so that's why I threw it in there. And then the partner Pokemon, the non-EX attacker, I'm running Raichu in this version of the deck, and I'm actually going to do a 24-ticket tournament for you guys, so this is the first time I'm actually doing that, so let me know if you guys would like to see me do more tournaments in the comments section below. I'm just trying it out, see what you guys think, and going from there. But Raichu is the partner that I'm going with for this video, but there, like I said, you can also pair it with Zoroark. It's just a matter of whether you want to focus on your bench or your opponent's bench. And one thing I would like to add that Zoroark brings that Raichu does not is the ability to stand in and retreat, which in my opinion is actually a little bit more valuable than Raichu being able to hit for a ton of damage. But just for the sake of this tournament, I'm going to go with Raichu because I just want to have a backup attacker that I can go for consistency. But I really encourage you guys to try that for yourself. Maybe run the 2-2 of Zoroark and Zorua, or heck, if you're feeling lucky, even try running a 1-1 of each of these guys, although then you run the potential for them to be prized, and that is just very, very unlucky and puts you in a kind of tough position, but you can work around it. So let me know what you guys think is best. I think Raichu or Zoroark would be best in this position, but if there's something else, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you guys are putting in that spot over Raichu or Zoroark. Now I'm also running 2 Hoopa because, I mean, Hoopa, slap it down your bench, get that damage, get more EXs out. I mean, Hoopa and Shaman just are such an incredible combination in this deck, so you want to run those guys. As for the items, I'm running 3 Mega Turbo. I'm running a kind of heavy number of Mega Turbo just because you want to be able to get that turn 1 Emerald Break, just hit for a ton of damage, attach the DCE manually, and then Mega Turbo on the other energy. And Mega Turbo is phenomenal in this deck. I mean, it's what gives this deck the ability to hit for so much damage early on and allows you to be able to take those prizes immediately and knock out EXs really on the first turn. I'm running 1 special charge just because we have DCEs and we're very reliant on DCEs. Raichu attacks for DCE, Zoroark attacks for DCE, Mega Rayquaza can attack for DCE. It's very, I mean, it technically can run 3 lightning energy, but that's kind of a waste. You definitely want to use a DCE. So special charge lets you get those back in the deck, those precious, precious resources. 1 Super Rod, unfortunately there's no Sacred Ash. Super Rod kind of has a little flexibility, lets you throw a regular lightning in the deck if you need it and you're out of Mega Turbos or something like that. But I would rather run Sacred Ash, but unfortunately that's not in the format right now, so I'm running a Super Rod. 3 Trainer's Mail, I'd like to run 4, but this deck I really just didn't have room for another Trainer's Mail. I mean, you could potentially sub out Jolteon for another one, but I don't know. I kind of like Jolteon in that spot just because it gives you another tech option just in case. Running 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out, 4 VS Seeker to reuse our supporters, and our supporter line is actually really, really weird, and this is something I've been experimenting with for a little while now, and I finally came up with something that I like, and that is 1 Hex Maniac to shut down things like Safeguard and Water Shuriken and stuff like that, 1 Lysander to bring stuff out, 1 N, only 1 N, just because you want to be discarding stuff and just drawing through your deck a lot with this deck. I mean, a lot of the cards you can almost play immediately, so you really don't need to shuffle anything back in your deck. N is more just for late game, try to disrupt your opponent if you happen to fall behind, or if you start with like 4 Mega Rayquaza and you don't want to Sycamore them away. But then I'm running 4 Sycamore for that guaranteed draw support. I mean, Sycamore just gives you fresh hand to 7, and you go from there. I mean, that's what this deck is all about. And the funny thing is, I actually like going through my first turn and then playing Hex Maniac because Shaman gives you really almost all the draw support you need a lot of the time. I mean, granted, more often than not, you will want to use Sycamore just to get more cards, but plenty of the time, I'd say almost 40% of the time, I end my turn with a Hex Maniac just to shut down anything my opponent potentially wants to do for the next turn. But Hex Maniac is a great tech, and you definitely have to run this in the deck because I mean, otherwise you can get stopped by things like Safeguard and stuff like that. Running 4 Skyfield. 4 Skyfield is absolutely critical to the damage of Mega Rayquaza and Raichu, so you want to play 4 of those. 2 Floatstone for the Hoopas and the Shamans and stuff like that, and this is also where Zoroark can come in handy. I mean, the stand-in and retreat is invaluable, and then also being a backup attacker, but like I said, going with Raichu just because I like Raichu and I like its ability to attack while leaving a Mega Rayquaza safe on the bench but powered up at the same time. 4 Rayquaza Spirit Link for 4 Mega Rayquaza, 4 DCE because you want to run the absolute max number. And then 4 Electric Energy, 4 Mega Turbo. I'm running Electric just because of Jolteon, but if you don't use Jolteon, if you throw like maybe an Yveltal in there, you can run Darkness Energy. It's really, really up to you. I'm only using Electric because I'm running Jolteon in this deck. So, you know what? I'm done rambling. Let's just go ahead and get into a 24-ticket tournament and see if we can pull out a victory. Alrighty, we out here. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and scroll through, find that Mega Rayquaza Raichu deck. And okay, well, looks like we are going to go ahead and start immediately against, I'm not even going to try to say that, there were just way too many numbers and letters like on, 3, W, 1, Neged, 4, I don't even know. It's probably something like About an Angel, but either way we do lose the coin flip, meaning we'll probably go second. But this deck actually doesn't mind going second because usually I can pull off an attack first turn and go from there. But either way, we will see. My opponent seems to be running something. I mean, I see like the fairy coin and stuff like that, but then I see a bunch of types. I mean, it could be running the new Rainbow Road, which would be kind of awesome. I mean, could be a little bit problematic because if my opponent's able to get those double types out, then the prize trade will definitely not be in my favor. But I think the speed of Mega Rayquaza will just be able to overwhelm him, and the fact that I have so much draw support in Shaman and Hoopa to be able to just thin through my deck, only get good cards that I need and can go through to where I will be able to just start Lysandering in the Xerneas as my supporter for the turn and then not have to waste the turn Sycamoring and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I am going to do. My opponent seems to be taking their sweet time. I do have to mulligan, which is a bit unfortunate, and okay. Oh, okay. Well, actually, wow, this is kind of an amazing start. So I can get 2 Mega Rayquaza up immediately with like the Hoopa and the Spirit Links and stuff like that, and I can also grab a Shaman, and wow. This is a pretty awesome starting hand, I'm not going to lie. But one thing that I also want to add is the fact that I'm running 2 Floatstone is because of the Hoopa and the Shaman. If you start one of those, you don't want to have to attach your energy for the turn to them, so slap a Floatstone onto them and retreat. And that's also where the Zoroark, I mean, I know I've said that like 6 times now, but the Zoroark, in my opinion, I think is potentially the better partner. I mean, Zoroark gives you a lot more utility in terms of everything, but Raichu just gives you more of the consistency and the consistent power. I mean, Zoroark depends on your opponent filling up their bench, while Raichu just depends on your bench. So really, it's all about whether you want the stand-in more or you want the consistent hard-hitting more. So, I mean, it's up to you guys. Feel free to try whatever. My opponent starts with a Gligar. What the heck? I mean, I don't even know what Gliscor does. I mean, I think I saw it a while ago, like it's about moving energy or something like that. But I think I have all the pieces I need, and oh boy, we see the Pikachu. Okay, this is going to get scary. I'm going to need to start locking down that Raichu. Although one thing that's nice is my opponent will have to fill up his bench, but at this point he seems to be doing pretty decently at that, so I don't think filling up his bench will necessarily be a problem. And I mean, that's another thing about Mega Rayquaza, is the Raichus can be a little bit of a problem, especially like just tech 1 or 2 of them. And if you just tech 1 or 2 of them in your deck against Mega Rayquaza, well, I mean, that's 4 prizes right there, and it's just a 2 prize trade, and then you can probably take 2 more by Lysandering in a Shaman or something like that. And okay, so yeah, Gligar does that, and wow, I even get a Sycamore. So this is a phenomenal start. I probably can play down my entire hand. Let's see what I can get. And nothing. Okay. But what I can do is go ahead and Hoopa. I think grab a Rayquaza and 2 Shaman. I could grab a Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza and 2 Shaman. But, you know, I'm going to grab the Dragon Rayquaza just because, I mean, I don't know. That's just a personal preference in case, like, it gets brought up and the Pikachu hits it or something like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and play the Spirit Link down, play a Shaman, get 4 cards. So, okay, I get a energy. I don't want to play that. I need to discard it somehow. I mean, I'll be able to discard it with the Sycamore, but at this point I want to discard it, play the manual attachment for the turn, and oh wow, this is just a beautiful, beautiful start. I can Ultra Ball, get rid of the Sycamore and the energy to grab another Hoopa, and ladies and gentlemen, I mean, if we can pull everything off, I mean, this is why I run the high amount of Mega Turbos, so I can pull off this turn 1. Gonna go ahead and Hoopa again, search for 3 more, grab probably just 1 Shaman. Yeah, let's go ahead and Rayquaza, Shaman, Rayquaza. I mean, yeah, because I can go ahead and play that other Mega Rayquaza. So we're going to have, turn 1, we are going to have 3 Mega Rayquazas just out there and ready to go. Well, not ready to go because they don't have the energy. But I mean, we have 3 Mega Rayquazas. Oh my gosh. We have a Pikachu on the bench. We have the Mega Turbo in hand. We drew the DCE. We don't even have to Sycamore. I mean, I probably will just to get everything else. Like, I mean, I'll discard the Shaman, but it's not that big of a deal. But I mean, look at that. Mega Rayquaza powered up in 1 turn, full field, 3 Mega Rayquazas in total that I have. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and be able to Emerald Break for 240 damage. And that is, I mean, that's the power of this deck. It is so ridiculously fast. I mean, my opponent, even if my opponent had like a Mega Mewtwo X or something like that, managed to Wally into it, even though I know that's illegal because Wally can't do that with EXs. I mean, that's still just absurd. And okay, so this is scary. My opponent managed to get a Raichu out, but the thing is, he has to get, I think, he has to get 5 more bench Pokemon. And okay, with the Professor Birch's observations Tails, he can't even do that. So we are in just a great, great position. I think I'm gonna Ultra Ball for a Raichu just so I can put a Raichu active and not have to risk a Mega Rayquaza. I mean, I want to knock out the Raichu with a Raichu. That way I don't have to risk my Mega Rayquaza. I don't know. I might just be over complicating things, but at the same time, like, I don't want to be unnecessarily risky and do stuff that I don't have to. But what I am going to do is just go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Hex Maniac and the Mega Rayquaza. I mean, I have a Super Rod if I need to put it back in the deck, but I mean, that's why I run 4 of them, just because, I mean, I have the 2 to play with. I can just discard them if I need to, and nothing is hurt at this point. But I'm going to sit on the Sycamores just in case my opponent manages to end me, and then I'm going to go from there just because I don't need to do anything else this turn. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Might as well thin my deck out as much as possible. Trainer's Mail, see, yeah, I'll just grab, know what? No, I'm going to grab the VS Seeker. That way I have options next turn. And then I'm just going to go ahead and Circle Circuit, get rid of the Spinarak, and get another prize. And wow, this deck is so ridiculously powerful. I even have the energy in my hand to attach to a Mega Rayquaza, and if my Raichu goes down, well, I can special charge that special energy back into my deck, play the manual energy onto the Mega Rayquaza, play the Pikachu down, and then just have another Raichu almost ready to go. So, wow, that's ridiculous, and if my opponent doesn't have anything, then, I mean, my Raichu's going to survive the turn. He does need 4 more Pokemon to be able to one-shot my Raichu. I mean, it's a difference of he needs 5 more Pokemon to knock out my Mega Rayquaza, but 4 more Pokemon to knock out my Raichu. But it's a difference of prizes, and that's kind of what I want to go for. And what does Mawile do? Oh, it's a Paralyze. So again, another way that Zoroark would be nice is you can avoid those stupid situations where your opponent can paralyze you and stuff like that. And also you don't have to worry about paying the retreat cost because of the stand-in and retreat and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's just a matter of opinion. Do you want to go more aggro or do you want to go more safe? I think in tournament, just in general, I think Zoroark would be a much better option than Raichu. But I don't know. When I go into like tournaments on TCGO, and I'm talking about tournaments in real life that I think Zoroark would be a better play. I'm just talking about tournaments on TCGO that I prefer to just have as many potential attackers as possible. That way I'm not left with nothing, you know? Alright, I even get another DCE, so... Yeah, I mean, I don't need to do anything at this point. I think I might just Hex Maniac. Do I want to? Yeah, you know what, just... I mean, my opponent obviously would have shamaned by now if he had it, but nope, there we go. Just going to go ahead and Circle Circuit, take another prize, and we could not be in a better position right now. I even get the Mega Turbo for next turn. Yeah, there is a Lightning in there. I can get another Mega Rayquaza powered up in the background to where even if this Raichu manages to take one out, I'll still be able to get another going. And I can't even express how good of a position. I mean, just look at my board state. 3 Mega Rayquaza, and okay, again, Lysander, another place where Zoroark would have come in handy. And, I mean, I know I keep saying that, like, Zoroark, and you might just be saying, okay, Mitch, or Sticks, wow, I just said my real name, oops. Wow, Sticks, I'm tired of you talking about Zoroark, why didn't you just use it, and why did you go with Raichu? Well, I just like the attack power. But what I can actually do right now is attach the DCE, retreat my Hoopa into the Raichu, go ahead and Mega Turbo the energy onto the Mega Rayquaza, go for... I mean, I could special charge, but I want to save that for in case my Mega Rayquaza or my Raichu gets knocked out. Nah, there's the Lysander. That's another thing you can tweak. Throw another Lysander in there, because, I mean, running a one-of leaves it prized occasionally, and you might need it. So you can definitely throw another Lysander in there over Jolteon or something like that. I don't know, I just really liked my 1-1-1-4 line of supporters, and that's what I decided to go with. But that's completely up to you guys. And okay, my opponent manages to get 4 onto the bench. That will not be a knockout on my Raichu. So that is pretty great, to say the least. And what I can't even do is, okay, he just retreats into the Xerneas. I can go ahead and Lysander in that Raichu and knock it out with Circle Circuit. But what I'm going to do right now is... I could attach the Mega Rayquaza, but I'm going to attach the Hoopa. That way all I need is just a regular energy on any of them to be able to retreat. I mean, Hoopa's not going to be doing anything, but if it gets Lysandered out, I don't want to have to dig or waste another DCE on it. So I'm just putting a regular energy on it. That way I can get a DCE or a regular energy next turn to be able to retreat, as opposed to just needing the DCE completely. And okay, my opponent will be able to bridge it to get, I don't know, well, I guess he could have gotten more stuff out, but he just goes ahead and forfeits. So we will move on to the next round. I mean, my first turn setup was absolutely unreal. I mean, that's the power of this deck. So made it past round 1. Let's just go ahead and see if we can make it into round 2. Oh, we made it into round 2, but let's just go ahead and see if we can make it past round 2 and move on into the championship. Alright, round 2, let's do this. I decided to jump in a little bit earlier just so you can see the bracket, see who I'm up against, see if there's anybody of noteworthy. Well, I guess anybody noteworthy, not of noteworthy. I don't know what I was saying. Okay, so we're against Dark Psychic and Dragon deck. This might be the Darkrai Giratina deck I was talking about a little bit earlier. Oh, we do win the coin flip. That's pretty good. I mean, like, I always like to go first, even though this deck can more often than not pull off the first turn Emerald Break, and you want to be able to do that. But okay, I start with a Shaman and an N. N is not the supporter I want to start with right now, and I get a DCE. Please give me an Ultra Ball. Okay, crud. So, I don't want to go ahead... I mean, I could just get rid of the DCE, but you know what? I'm probably going to draw like an Ultra Ball off the N. N should be fine in this scenario. I mean, it gives my opponent a fresh hand, and okay. So I don't get that, but what I can do is go ahead and play the Rayquaza down, play the Pikachu down, go ahead and put the DCE onto it, and luckily Headringer does not exist in this meta or Jamming Net, so I don't have to worry about my opponent putting a Headringer or Jamming Net, well, like I just said, on either Rayquaza or Shaman, so I can go ahead and not have to necessarily worry about the Spirit Link first turn. And oh my gosh, Crushing Hammer in a Mega Mewtwo deck? What is this? I don't know. I mean, I always rant a little bit about people just using random Crushing Hammers in decks, but I'm not a huge fan at all. In fact, I think it's kind of dumb that you can't you can't figure out what else to put in the deck, so you just put in a Crushing Hammer. You don't bother with consistency or anything like that. And then to top it off, when my opponent gets awarded for that dumb play. But I don't know. Either way, my opponent's just going to Ultra Ball. We did see that he doesn't run any normal type Pokemon, so we don't have to worry about the possibility for a turn 1 well, we don't have to worry about the possibility of a Shaman, so my opponent will be down to 1 card, but what stinks is the fact that I'm going to have to end if I want to get anything going at all. And yes, my opponent is at 1 card, which sucks, and okay, I just get another Rayquaza, so this is painful, but I'm going to have to end, give my opponent a brand new hand while I couldn't get a Sycamore or anything like that, and oh, this is disgusting. Oh man, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and play... Yeah, I'm just going to play the regular energy onto my Rayquaza and then just Mega Evolve. I mean, I can't do anything else. I could potentially... I mean, at least I have the Sycamore and the Floatstone for next turn. I have to pray that my opponent doesn't have the means necessary to knock out a Shaman or something like that. And okay, we see the Zoroark, which means I'm going to have to play kind of carefully. I think I'm only... So yeah, I'm only going to be able to put 6 bench Pokemon at once. Otherwise, my opponent will be able to knock out a Mega Rayquaza with a Zoroark. So I'm going to have to play this carefully and not just fill up my bench with 8 Pokemon first turn like I did last game. Okay, so my opponent just has to... Shatter Shot does not knock out the Shaman. Oh, there's our Spirit Link. Wait. Oh, whoops, wrong Rayquaza. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Let's just go ahead and Sycamore, get some more cards. And that's a lot better. Let's go ahead and... Trainer's Mail. Yeah, grab the Mega Turbo. Why the heck not? Just go from there. So yeah, I'm actually kind of kicking myself a little bit about that Mega Rayquaza, about the Rayquaza Spirit Link. I played it onto the wrong one, but hopefully it won't bite me in the butt. What is nice is I will be able to knock out this Mewtwo this turn. I'll be able to discard the Ultra Ball and the Pikachu. I don't think that Raichu is going to be particularly useful this game. I mean, of course, having a backup attacker is always nice. It's never a bad thing. But let's go ahead and Hoopa, grab another Mega Rayquaza and a Shaman, and then maybe... I don't know. Yeah, let's just go ahead and grab another Shaman. That way, it will give me my 6 on the bench while drawing some more cards. But at the same time, I won't have to worry about... the Zoroark immediately getting a revenge KO. But yeah, let's just go ahead and Ultra Ball, grab the Raichu to be able to play that down, have that attacker ready to go, and then Shaman for 4 cards. And then while I could play down the rest of my hand, like I said, I only want to have 6 bench Pokemon at the absolute most. That way Zoroark will not be able to knock me out in 1 turn. I mean, even with like a Muscle Band or something like that. I mean, I could get 7 on there. Actually, no, I couldn't, because then my opponent would be able to knock me out with a Mind Jack. So I'm going with the absolute maximum number of Pokemon possible, and it's actually kind of nice that I'm able to knock out the Mewtwo while also keeping myself out of harm's way from that potential Zoroark on the bench, because my opponent, all he is away from it is just a Zoroark and a... Well, there's the Zoroark, and now all we need to see is the energy, and he'll be able to hit me for 190 damage, so very, very, very glad I didn't play that down. And he had the energy, actually, but he chose to play it onto the Mewtwo. I guess maybe he's waiting for next turn, but... Okay, and this is also a reason why I didn't play anything else down, because, I mean, my opponent just had that potential to Parallel City, and I can even get rid of the Damage Shaman. It does lose a Floatstone and a Pokemon with Free Treat, but that's not too huge of a deal, because, I mean, all that's left are just Raichu and then 2 Rayquaza. Raichu has Free Treat anyway, and then I have 3 Pokemon just in my hand that I can go with. So let's go ahead and counter that Stadium, get a DCE onto a Rayquaza, play the Jolteon down, because why the heck not? Lysander in that Zoroark, and then go for a Shaman to draw 2. I can just go ahead and play the Floatstone onto the Shaman, maybe get a Spirit Link or something like that. You know what? I didn't get anything. Let's go ahead and just play the Floatstone down, Shaman for a couple more, maybe get a Rayquaza Spirit Link. I get the Mega Rayquaza. You know what? I don't need to do anything else. Let's just go ahead and Emerald Break right now. Save whatever's left to be able to knock out the Mega Mewtwo, or the Mewtwo next turn. And my opponent's left with 1 card, and yeah, I mean, I'm in a position where I mean, all I need to technically do is play down one more Pokemon to be able to get the Oko on the Mewtwo with the Fighting Fury Belt, but I think I'm going to go for the massive 240 damage for the win. And I mean, I have a Sycamore, I have an Ultra Ball, I know I still have a Hoopa left in the deck to be able to fish out something. And okay, my opponent just brings in the regular Rayquaza. Okay, so what I think I'm actually going to do is go ahead and play the regular energy onto that. I could have... So what I could have... Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is play the regular energy onto it just because Mega Rayquaza has 1 retreat cost. Go ahead and Ultra Ball for the Raichu. And Ultra Ball, get rid of the Raichu. Go grab the Hoopa. I'm trying to maximize my chance of getting a Rayquaza Spirit Link because, I mean, right now I think I have better odds of getting the Spirit Link than I do a DCE, which, I mean, just I got confirmed right there. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Rayquaza down, guarantee the Oko on the Mewtwo, play the Sycamore, and then, yep, there's the Spirit Link, and there is the Mega Rayquaza. So, yep, just going to go ahead and Spirit Link, go ahead and Mega Evolve up, retreat into my other Mega Rayquaza, and win our round 2 game with an Emerald Break for 240 damage. So, I mean, this deck, once again, coming through. I mean, I said this first round, and I'm going to say it second round. I mean, this deck is so ridiculously powerful. I mean, my opponent's deck was not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Admittedly, he did not get set up, I'm sure, in the way he wanted. Actually, he didn't really get set up at all. He was stuck with a bad hand and just had to sit and watch my Rayquaza's power up and run through his deck. But, I mean, this deck is so powerful. We're into the championship. Let's just go ahead and see if I can pull away with, I think I come away with 24 packs if I win this. So I wanted to do a tournament for you guys, and I decided to start off with a bang and do a 24 ticket tournament that was on this weekend. So figured why not, and we're in the ship, so I will see you guys in just a second. Alright guys, championship time. This is where legends are made. Heroes make it to the Final Four, but legends make it all the way past the championship. And okay, looks like we're up against a fighting deck. So I mean, really, we didn't get too... I think the only real meta deck we played was maybe the Mewtwo one, and my opponent wasn't able to get too much going. But, I mean, I guess Rainbow Road is kind of, but I'm curious to see what type of fighting deck this is. Okay, we start off with actually a decent-ish hand with a Mega Rayquaza. I mean, we have an Ultra Ball, we have a Special Charge, so I mean, we can Ultra Ball, get rid of the DCE and, like, the Trainer's Mail or something, grab a Hoopa, go from there. I mean, I can definitely pull off this first turn Emerald Break. So, okay, it's against a Marowak deck? Huh. Okay, my opponent ends me. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I had 6 cards, I'll get 6 cards. I would have liked to have gotten something better. I mean, it was a decent hand, but I think I can work with this. And, ooh, this is rough. So I'm not seeing anything that is particularly good. I mean, I have the Trainer's Mail, which can get me a Sycamore or an Ultra Ball. I mean, I will be able to get an immediate Mega Rayquaza, so that is phenomenal. But what I'm hoping is like an Ultra Ball or a Sycamore off of the Trainer's Mail or off the draw. So, I mean, I have good chances to get something that I can work with. I'm just hoping that I get it and can go from there. And my opponent actually has a pretty decent setup, and I get the Mega Turbo again. It's not the best, but oh man. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do anything this turn. Actually, if I had gotten an Ultra Ball off of that Trainer's Mail, I would have almost 100% been able to pull off the first turn Emerald Break. I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to just have to Lysander in the Remoraid for my turn. I mean, that's it. That's all I can do. Luckily, we do have the type advantage because I will have resistance to Marowak's attacks, but I do have to be kind of careful, I think. I don't know. Either way, I think I'm just in a huge advantage because all I need is one turn to just get set up and just start destroying the Cubone and the Marowak and stuff like that. I mean, this Cubone is going to get powered up this turn. I mean, my opponent's going to go ahead and Ultra Ball. I don't know, probably grab... Okay, so he's running Shaman and Octillery in the same deck. Huh. Oh, that's funny. I mean, it's interesting, to say the least. So my opponent will be able to Abyssal Hand, and honestly, I'm just in huge top deck mode right now. I mean, I don't want to forfeit because, I mean, come on, it's the finals of a 24-ticket tournament, and I'm not just going to wuss out like that, especially in a deck as powerful as this. well, as powerful and as fast as this, where I'm able to, all I need is like an Ultra Ball or a Sycamore, and I can just go off from there. So Bone Windmill will be doing a decent amount of damage. I mean, it'll be a 4-hit KO on my Mega Rayquaza, even with the Strong Energy. And oh yes, my opponent ends. Jeez, that was such a mistake, I think. Yeah, that was a huge mistake by my opponent. I mean, if he had just started sharpshooting and like retreating into his Shaman or in his Octillery with a free treat or something like that, then I wouldn't have been able to do anything. But now I will be able to get a knockout this turn with the Mega Rayquaza, almost certainly. I mean, I have the Rayquaza, I have the Sycamore, I have the DCE. I mean, all I need is 3 more Pokemon, and I hope. I mean, if all I need is like an Ultra Ball to just get going absolutely ridiculously fast. And what I can go ahead and do is Ultra Ball, get rid of the Mega Turbo. I don't think I'll need it, and the Raichu, because, I mean, my Mega Rayquazas aren't going to get knocked out in one hit, to grab a Hoopa. And, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. We are now pretty much set up and good to go, because, I mean, I got the Hoopa. I can get a Shaman, I can get another Mega Rayquaza, and then probably just another Shaman, I guess, for next turn if I need it. Yeah, I'll just grab the Jolteon. That way I can actually Ultra Ball, get rid of the Jolteon, and then grab another Hoopa or something like that if I need it. But let's go ahead and play the Mega Rayquaza down. Go ahead and... you know what? Yeah, let's just go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Jolteon and the VS Seeker. I mean, getting rid of the VS Seeker is kind of a bummer, but I'm going to grab another Hoopa just in case for next turn. So let's go ahead and Shaman. Go ahead and get some more cards. And I don't think I'm going to play that many Pokemon down. Trainer's Mail, okay, the Hex Maniac. And nah, I'm just going to go ahead and Rayquaza Spirit Link. That way I can Shaman for more cards right now. Not next turn, right now. Screw it, I'm just going to fill up my bench. I mean, why the heck not? I have the Hoopa if I need other stuff. So let's go ahead and Skyfield. And here is the explosion I was talking about. I can go ahead and Hoopa to grab another Mega Rayquaza, get that set up. I mean, probably just grab, yeah, 2 Mega Rays, evolve both of my Rayquazas, and then the Shaman. I mean, look at this, guys. This was just one turn. I mean, you saw how atrocious my first turn was, but as soon as I got access to Ultra Ball and other stuff in the deck, I mean, as soon as I just got that, like, 1 or 2 cards, like, I had so many outs, and I just went off from there, knock out the Shaman, and I mean, look at this. We have a Mega Rayquaza sitting out there. Admittedly, it's damaged, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. I don't know. Do I want to play the Pikachu this game? I don't think the Pikachu will be that big of a deal. And my opponent just delinquents. Okay. So what I think I'm actually going to do is go ahead and just get rid of the Pikachu and the Mega Rayquaza. I don't need a 4th Mega Rayquaza. And then I will have to get rid of... Yeah, let's just get rid of the Hoopa, I think. Because, I mean, I'll still be able to knock out everything on the field with Emerald Break. So, regardless, I'm just in a great position. I mean, what my opponent can potentially do is... I mean, Marowak Break could potentially knock out a Mega Rayquaza if I have... Actually, I need to have taken 5 prizes in order for a Marowak to knock out my Mega Rayquaza in one shot. And even then, it requires a strong energy. So yeah, my opponent's just going to Super Rod, go ahead and get a Shaman, a Marowak, and a Fighting Energy back in the deck. And then Abyssal Hand for 1 with Octillery. I mean, like, we're just in a great position. I mean, yeah, the Marowak Break comes out. I mean, I'll still be able to knock that out with a full bench. And yeah, Bone Revenge does do the 40 for each prize I've taken. So I had to be a little bit careful. But, I mean, like, my opponent can take 2 prizes. It's not a big deal. So we'll be able to retreat into the Cubone, but you know what? That thing's just going to go down immediately. Might as well just play the DCE onto another Mega Rayquaza, take the knockout on the Cubone this turn, take another prize, and just be that much closer to beating my opponent. Granted, he will be able to do the Revenge Blast, or whatever it's called with Marowak Break, onto my Rayquaza and get the knockout this turn because I've taken 3 prizes. And okay, my opponent just goes ahead and ends. That's why I didn't want to play the Skyfield down and play the Shaman. I mean, I want to keep my draw options open. I mean, look at that. Even if my opponent does knock out this Mega Rayquaza, I'll still be fine because, I mean, I have the Skyfield. And we see the Carbink onto the bench. Okay, that's... Okay, so my Pikachu and Raichu are in the discard pile, and my Hex Maniac is still in the deck, so I'm going to have to fish for that a little bit. That's unfortunate. Glad I have the Skyfield and the Shaman So let's go ahead and play that there. Play the regular energy onto the Rayquaza on the bench just to have something going. I mean, just to have another Mega Rayquaza in case this one goes down. Okay, what I can do... Actually, let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of 2 of the regular energies to grab. Yeah, I think I'll just... I don't know. Actually, wait. No, I wanted to grab the Shaman. Ah, whatever. I wanted to dig a little bit this turn for the Hex Maniac, but alright, so I'm just gonna have to concede the fact that I will not be able to knock out this Carbink this turn. I mean, I could go for a Lysander, but then that just leaves me with 1 card and no way of really no way of, what was I saying? It leaves me no way of being able to deal with the Carbink after my Mega Ray goes down next turn if I knock out the Marowak. So what I'm going to do is just give up the fact that I will not be able... Oh, not give up the fact. Give up the idea of taking a prize and accept the fact I will not be able to take a prize. I was trying to combine those, but I couldn't figure them out in my head. And then I'm just going to manually retreat into... yeah, this Mega Ray on the bench, get rid of that single energy, and then just end my turn right there. I will not be able to knock out the Carbink, but, I mean, that's just what I had to do. My opponent will not be able to one-shot this fresh Mega Rayquaza EX. And, okay, so even just bridge it, so I do have the stuff in my hand to be able to... I mean, I'll be able to Lysander in the Marowak next turn and knock it out with my Mega Rayquaza. I'll be able to... I mean, I'm just in a great position right now. And okay, my opponent does Escape Rope. You know what? He'll be able to take a prize. Wait, 120, 140, 160. He will not be able to take a prize on my Hoopa, so I'm just going to go ahead and go into that. And then, because I mean, it has the free treat, so if he does knock it out, well, cool, he got 2 prizes, but then my Mega Rayquaza will be able to knock him out. And if he doesn't, then I do have the Float Stone to manually retreat. And oh my gosh, don't do this. No. Yeah. So, okay, we're back. We're back. And, okay, my Mega Rayquaza is knocked out. I can see the 240 damage on it. Wait, neither of our timers are going down. Oh my gosh, TCGO, what are you doing? Don't do this. Why? Oh my gosh. Okay, so my opponent clearly Break evolved. Jeez. I mean, he evolved into another Marowak. Oh my gosh, why is TCGO crapping the bed on this one? Whatever. I mean, I think I'm going to have to be right back and go from there, potentially just, yeah, exit out and then come back in and just pray that I haven't had to forfeit yet. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. Come on, load. Hurry up. Alright, so my opponent has taken 2 prizes, but you know what? I still think we're in a good enough position. And oh, come back with 8 seconds left. Booyah. Let's go ahead and play the DCE down there. Go ahead and VS Seeker. Grab the Lysander. Knock out that Marowak break. And that was scary right there. That was very, very, very scary. We almost lost the championship because TCGO decided to crap the bed. I'm saying crap the bed because I'm trying... Because YouTube is recently going through this really bad phase where it's just being like, yeah, you can't say anything offensive at all, or we're just going to like ban you and demonetize everything and go from there. So I'm gonna have to be even more censored than usual. I know I don't usually use curse words anyway, but I'm trying to be extra careful. And okay, my opponent does get the Marowak break again, but I mean, luckily I have all the cards I need to be able to take the remaining knockouts. I mean, I have 2 Mega Rayquazas left. My opponent will not be able to knock out this Mega Rayquaza this turn. I'll be able to knock out the Marowak unless he goes for like the bone turn or whatever it was called. And I don't know, I'm just in a good enough position. I mean, I have draw power, I have the Sycamore, I have the Shaman, I have the Ultra Ball, I have the Skyfield if my opponent gets rid of it. I'm just trying to play into the possible end scenarios. Okay, let's go ahead and Trainer's Mail. Grab the Sycamore. No, let's grab... Okay, there's a DCE in my discard pile, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the Special Charge. Go ahead and I think... do I want to play it? I mean, I want to... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play it. That way, the only thing that's left in my deck are useful cards. And then I think... Yeah, do I want to Emerald Break, I think? Just knock out the Marowak? No, No. What I'm going to do is Ultra Ball, get rid of the Sycamore and the Skyfield, because the Skyfield would be a dead card to draw. Get the Pikachu out there. That way I have a way of dealing with the Carbink by drawing into a Raichu and a DCE next turn if, I mean, that's what happens. I mean, I have the Shaman, I have the ability to draw into more cards, and what do I draw off of this? I draw the VS Seeker so I can even grab a Lysander or something like that. So, I mean, I could have played out a lot more, but I decided to just play into the potential N. That way, any 2 cards that I get would pretty much win me the game. I think the only thing that wouldn't would be like the DCE and then another Pikachu. Because, I mean, I think I managed to thin my deck enough to where any combination of 2 cards would win me the game except for that one. So let's hope I don't get super unlucky, and you know what? We have the game right there because my opponent wasn't able to end me down. He will just go ahead and knock out my Mega Rayquaza. I kept that there, just made it so tempting that he would just go ahead and take the knockout on it, so I would have the ability to knock him out next turn. And you know what? There's the other Pikachu. Just going to go ahead and play that down, shaming the rest of my deck. I mean, I have my outs. I have the Lysander to bring in an Octillery or a Cubone. I mean, I'm just going to show my opponent how many different outs I had. Play the Raichu down right there. Play the DCE right there. Go ahead and VS Seeker to grab the Lysander to bring in the Cubone. And, I mean, I could Hex Maniac, but, I mean, I'm just going to Lysander in the Cubone. I mean, that Marowak was being a thorn in my side this entire time. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We were able to win that tournament, win that 24-ticket tournament, which only comes around every so often, so you have to take advantage when you can. Unfortunately, we get an event ticket off of that. Mega Rayquaza was able to come through, just take a bunch of knockouts, and I mean, I started off slow, but all I needed was that one card to just absolutely explode and hit for a ton of damage. I mean, this is why I say I think that this deck is the best in the format currently, because right now it's not so much about like item lock or Night March or stuff like that. I mean, this deck is able to hit for 240 damage turn 1. I mean, how many decks are able to see that? I mean, yeah, Mega Mewtwo, Zebstrika, Garbodor has a decent matchup against this, but I honestly think that this deck is the current best deck right now. I mean, that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below, and also let me know what you think of me doing a tournament. I mean, I decided that, I mean, everything's starting new, the new format. I'm doing more Expanded and Legacy. My TCGO, the TCGO side of the channel is evolving a little bit, so I decided that we needed to try something new, spice things up a little bit, and I am planning to do a daily challenge in the future. Not sure how near of the future that will be, but I decided to do a tournament for you guys just so you guys can get a little bit different than just the versus ladder. So let me know if you like it or if you'd rather just see versus ladder matches in the comments section below. I'm actually really psyched that I was able to enter my first tournament since the new standard format came out and come away with 24 packs. I mean, that's ridiculous. Oh, we even get 2 Roaring Skies, which is absolutely amazing. That is definitely going towards trade fodder for some more full arts. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave the comments in the comments section below letting me know if you liked me doing a tournament, and also letting me know what you think of the new format and what decks you think will be good. So thank you very much again, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.